Hey VC, how's it going? I thought as we are rapidly approaching the end of 2016, I thought I would show you my favourite records of the year. I've got 5 new releases and 5 reissues. So kicking off with the new releases, this is Lamb Chop, Flotus. This is what's playing in the background at the moment. I think this came out a couple of months ago. Yeah, basically Lamb Chop put out an album probably about 2000-2001 called Nixon, which is an absolutely stunning record. And obviously I picked that up, so I say it's one of my favourite records. And obviously the years that passed, I picked up the odd record of theirs. I saw them live, I think probably on the Nixon tour, but gradually lost touch with them. And then I heard a track off this album probably about 6-7 weeks ago on late night radio, and it's clear that their sound had changed somewhat. Still got that sort of very laid back, sleepy type vocal, you know, but they'd added almost a little bit of a hip hop feel to it in places. You know, it got you know, that sort of hip hop production, a vocoder vocal here and there, and it's really freshened things up. So yeah, I picked this album up. This is a relatively recent addition, and I was determined to only pick 5 new albums, so I've had to leave out several great albums from this year, stuff like Nick Cave, PJ Harvey, Radiohead. You know, there's several albums that I could have included, which I'd like to include, but I've left aside. So yeah, this is very good, definitely worth checking out. Okay, I said when this one came out, I showed it in an earlier video. This is the Bad Bad Not Good album 4. Now I don't know all their stuff. They made an album a couple of years ago with Ghostface Killer, which is a nice listen. I mean, from what I understand, some of their earlier stuff is a bit more sort of hip hop flavoured, but with touches of jazz here and there. This is the other way around. This is more jazz with touches of hip hop. Again, double vinyl, lovely package. I know this got Album of the Year on BBC 6 Music when they counted their top 10. Yeah, I love this record. Largely instrumental. A couple of tracks I got vocals on, different guest vocalists, and the whole thing just really works from start to finish. Beautiful playing. Yeah, I mean, this is a band, once again, I think I said before, that I haven't seen live, but I would love to see them live. I mean, the drummer especially is, you know, he's something else, certainly on record, so I'd love to see him live. So yeah, Bad Bad Not Good 4. Okay, a bit predictable, but I'm going to chuck it anyway. This is obviously Black Star by Bowie. To be honest, I mean, I bought this when it came out, obviously. A couple of days later, obviously news came out of Bowie's death. I did listen to it once at that time, and I shelved it after that, purely because, quite rightly so, you know, Bowie stuff was being played everywhere, you know, every radio station, TV, so much stuff going on, a lot of talk about him, a lot of emotion, and I wanted to listen to it, you know, sort of outside of all that really. So I've only picked this up again in the last month or two. You know, and everybody was saying at the time what a great album it is, but I say I only gave it that one spin at the time. But yeah, basically, I mean, I'm 41, so I was born in 75. So although I love all those 70s records, I don't remember them coming out. I mean, a lot of them came out before I was born, stuff like Hunky Dory, Ziggy Stardust, you know. The first record that I remember of his, it would be Let's Dance, you know, just through sort of an older sister playing it. But it's really the stuff in the 90s, early 2000s, which mean the most to me, purely because those are the records that I remember buying when they came out. I saw him live for some of those albums, and yeah, this is. I think that this record is closer to those records than any of the 70s stuff. I mean, I'm sure that people disagree with that, but yeah, I mean, and certainly, and more so than his previous album as well, which I did enjoy, but it wasn't really you know, 100% all the way there. But this is just a great album from start to finish. But as I say, I think it leans more towards those 90s albums, stuff like Earthling and Outside, than any of his 70s stuff. Actually, it's funny, when I heard of his death, about his death, the first thing I thought about, I saw him live on his last tour over here, which was 2003, 2004. He did a few nights at the NEC in Birmingham. I saw a couple of those shows, and I was sitting next to a guy, a a friend got me pretty good tickets just on the side of the stage basically. And I sit next to a guy who prior to the show was sitting there telling me all about how much he loved Bowie and all the 70s stuff and whatever, and the records that he had and that sort of stuff. Anyway, halfway through the show, I mean, if you saw any of those gigs, they're pretty evenly balanced with regards to older stuff and newer stuff, you know. So you'd hear a couple of tracks like, I don't know, Ziggy Stardust and All the Young Dudes, and then you'd hear a couple of tracks off Reality or Heathen, that sort of stuff. And it worked really well, but about 2/3 of the way through the gig, Bowie was doing quite a slow, almost quiet number really, which is, you know, quite a brave thing to do in an arena, but you know, he's David Bowie, so you know he can do that. And you know, the audience were very quiet. I think it was the last track on Reality. I think it's got a bit of a jazzy tinge to it. Anyway, it's very quiet. I say, we're a stone's throw from Bowie. This guy stood up and just shouted "wanker" at David Bowie, right? Which I think he didn't sort of upset him, but it clearly surprised him. The fact, you know, he did look over as if to say, you know, what the fuck's going on, type thing. This guy then got up, stormed out, and announced to the crowd, the people sitting around him, that David Bowie had been an arsehole tonight, you know, purely because all he wanted to hear was stuff from Ziggy Stardust. But when I heard about obviously David Bowie dying, I must admit I did wonder what that guy was saying at the time. You know, was he saying that he saw him play a great gig in 2003 and he played all the hits, whatever? I don't know. You look at these things with rose-tinted glasses, don't you? But yeah, a little bit bizarre. Right, okay. Another album that came out early on in the year, I think this came out in February, this is the Cavern of Antimatter. This is, I think, their second album. This is Tim Gaynor of Stereolab, his current project. Now, I love this record. Again, double vinyl. It's a bit krautrocky in places. Yeah, electronic in places. There's one tune with it which has got a vocal on it, which is almost a little bit acid jazz. You know, it doesn't quite fit with the album, but yeah, it just makes the whole thing a little bit more interesting. You know, it's a record that I really like. I say, I picked up earlier in the year. I played it again the other night, and start to finish, a lovely record. One that I definitely recommend. So, Cavern of Antimatter. Okay, one last one of the new albums. This is Steve Mason, Meet the Humans. For those of you who don't know, Steve Mason was in the Beta Band, made famous by John Cusack in High Fidelity, you know, attempting to sell copies of their 3 EPs album. Yeah, this is a lovely album. It's obviously an interesting songwriter. It's got almost like a laid-back vocal on it. You know, obviously, if you know the Beta Band, you'll be aware of that type of sound. A little bit dancey in places. Yeah, some of the songs do have a little bit of a nod to sort of that early 90s indie dance sound here and there. But yeah, an interesting album. I think this is his 3rd or 4th solo album. I don't have any of the others, so I'll certainly be going back. But a couple of big singles on this which have been played on the radio a lot, so you may well be familiar with a few of the tracks. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. Okay, just quickly then for some reissues. Big deal for me this year. A lot of the Prince Warner stuff has been put out on vinyl again by by Warner Brothers. This is his first album. I mean, I could have picked any of the reissues. I think I've been 5 or 6 of them so far. I think we're up to Sign of the Times this year. This is his first album. The reason why I'm showing this one is because this is an album which, although I've played a lot, I've never really got into it. But the current pressings of these reissues just sound fantastic, and of all of the reissues that have come out, this is the one that I played the most. So yeah, any of those Prince reissues worth picking up. Okay, another reissue. I've spoke about the PMG label before. A lot of African, whether it be Afrobeat, boogie, all sorts of stuff, you know, coming out. I mean, I think the records that I've shown before, I showed the Blow album, didn't I think the Apostles, stuff like that. This is the best of the lot that I've heard so far. This is an Afrobeat record. This is Aleki Konu. The album's called Aleki. I think I had this playing in the background in a video that I showed that I made earlier in the year, and quite a few people commented. So yeah, this is a lovely album, and one that I'd never have heard if it hadn't been for this reissue. Okay, a couple of Brazilian albums. This is Jose Mauro. I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong, right even, probably wrong, but yeah. Yeah, this is a record that I'd heard about a few years ago. Somebody mentioned it to me and recommended it to me, but copies, original copies go for an arm and a leg, something I was never going to be able to afford to buy. But this reissue, it's on Far Out Recordings. Lovely copy. I mean, what attracted to me this is to this is that it's not like a traditional Brazilian record as you would expect it. It's a lot more melancholy. It's orchestral, beautiful string arrangements. I say quite a melancholy feel to the whole thing. From what I understand, I think this guy passed away around the time of this album coming out, with it just before or after its release. I don't know what the circumstances are. If you want to check out online, I suppose. But yeah, and I like the fact it's a little bit mysterious. Not a great deal known about him. But yeah, a really interesting record, and I say this pressing certainly does it justice. One that I have shown earlier in the year, again, not sure whether I'm pronouncing his name right, Arthur Varekai. I think this came out probably April or May time. Originally came out in 1972. I said at the time it was one of the best things that I'd heard all year, despite it being a reissue, and that still stands. An absolutely beautiful sounding record. Strings on it. It's quite funky in places, as I mentioned before. Just again a beautiful sounding record. Obviously, it's a Brazilian album. I understand from a few comments following my previous video that I think this was one that was shown quite a bit in the VC a few years ago when the previous reissue of it came out. However, I understand that this recent issue is a far better pressing, but I would definitely recommend that you check this one out. And finally, this is another little bit of a cheat. 4 albums came out, reissued earlier in the year by Mark Mack, the producer. Now these records have come, well, these albums have come out, I think, on CD over the course of the last 10 years. There's 4 of them. You've got It's Right to Be Civil, Extend the Knowledge, Messages from Soulville, and the recent one is Generation X. And basically all of these are, you know, around a particular subject. Obviously the It's Right to Be Civil is around the civil rights movement. Lots of news footage and stuff, clips that have been basically put over hip hop beats. Yeah, interesting stuff. It doesn't always work on all of the albums, some are better than others, but certainly an interesting listen, so I'd recommend those as well. So that's my 2016. Happy New Year.